Next question is, what's the ruling on one who willfully enlists in a Kafir military hostile to Muslims like the US military? The answer to that is بشر المنافقين بأن لهم عذابا أليما الذين يتخذون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين. Give the hypocrites the tiding of a painful torment that's awaiting them. Who are they? They're the ones who take the disbelievers as protectors, friends, and helpers over awliya, over the believers, and against the believers. Willfully volunteering to join militaries like the UK or the US is clear ridda. Ridda means it's kufr, means apostasy. It's volunteering to enlist in a military that's a kafir military. And that's all that needs to be said. I don't really need to say a word beyond that. A kafir military hostile to Muslims. Take a recent example. The women we spoke about in prisons and in camps, living with no rights, under torturous conditions. Who's really behind it? Who actually caused it? A military that's starting wars with Muslims every other day. Not just Muslims. But who wants the blood of someone he has no right to kill when he meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if he's not Muslim? Their wars are not our wars. They massacred their brothers in faith. In the past and the present, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, 250,000 massacred in days with the consent of the UK. That's on their brothers in faith, so imagine what they do to the Muslims. Those who are emotional to the Palestinian cause and don't take that matter or this matter from an aqidah perspective. They take it from an emotional perspective. Whose continued, ongoing, non-stop support is the backbone of the Zionist occupiers in Palestine who are killing your brothers and sisters and children. It would be quite embarrassing if I had to detail the crimes of their military on the innocent Muslims globally. It would be an endless series. Their militaries are the most powerful, colonizing, conceited, arrogant, defiant terrorist organizations on the face of the earth today and possibly of all times. Their wrath is focused on Islam and Muslims, and it knows no bounds. If any Muslim merely thinks or considers enlisting, if that thought comes to their mind, to enlist in their ranks, they need to detoxify their beliefs and their hearts and minds with Tawheed. Let me repeat it clearly for generations to come, inshallah. Those who willfully volunteer and enlist in such organizations fall into ridda. They're murtaddeen, meaning they're apostates. Apostates means they exited the folds of Islam. If you see them in their propaganda pictures performing salah in rows, or in videos calling adhan, or with the Quran in their hands, or hanging on the door of the Kaaba, they're murtaddeen. They're murtaddeen even while they're circumambulating the Kaaba and while kissing the black stone. Murtaddeen even while their women show off in scarves. Murtaddeen means apostates. And that entails their spouses must do fasakh from them. Otherwise, they'll be with them in haram. Their Muslim relatives can inherit from them. And they can't inherit from their Muslim relatives. If they sacrifice, you can't eat from their sacrifice. If a Jew or Christian properly sacrifices, you can eat from theirs, but you can't eat from their sacrifices. You can marry a Jew or Christian, but you can't marry from them. If they die, their carcasses shouldn't be washed or shrouded by Muslims. Their carcasses shouldn't defile a pure masjid. Janazah on them is not permissible. Burying them among the Muslims is not permissible. Dua for them after they die is not permissible. Dua for them while they're alive is only to guide them or destroy them. Keep in mind the terms of the question. Willfully. The question is willfully volunteering to enlist. That's essential when coming to a hukm on this matter. If one is forced into the military, we would touch on this topic from a different angle. The ulama of earlier centuries spoke on the ruling if kuffar force Muslims to join the military or to harm Muslims. And I briefly touched upon that in the Tawheed classes. We know the reality. The US is not drafting Muslims into their military, at least not yet. The basis of kufr in this matter is not from one angle. It's not one foundation. It's multiple bases. This matter is not intertwined in kufr, it's entangled in kufr. And I'm not even going to get into the haram issues. This issue is a prime example of mudaharatul mushrikeen, of tawalli. Mudaharatul mushrikeen is backing, supporting, aiding, helping the kuffar against or over the Muslims. The young brother who asked this question, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him and bless him and his family. I'm confident by the will of Allah that he will do a superb job in answering this. I'm confident. Why? Inshallah. Because he was raised on my Tawheed classes. As young as he is, he was raised on my Tawheed classes. May Allah grant him and his family barakah and steadfastness on Tawheed. I emphasized wala and bara in the Tawheed classes many times, and before that, and after that, because falling in a nullifier of this nature is a repercussion of not knowing an essential concept of La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, which is referred to as wala and bara. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض وَمَن يَتَوَلَّهُم مِّنكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. Ibn Hazm rahimahullah ta'ala said this verse is as apparent as it indicates. Meaning, one who gives wala to the kuffar is a kafir. He said no two Muslims can dispute this. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَتَّخِذُوا بِطَانَةً مِّن دُونِكُمْ لَا يَأْلُونَكُمْ خَبَالًا وَدُّوا مَا عَنِتُّمْ قَدْ بَدَتِ الْبَغْضَاءُ مِنْ أَفْوَاهِهِمْ وما تخفي صدورهم أكبر قد بينا لكم الآيات إن كنتم تعقلون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء تلقون إليهم بالمودة لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم أو أبناءهم أو إخوانهم أو عشيرتهم أولئك كتب في قلوبهم الإيمان وأيدهم بروح منه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ترى كثيرا منهم يتولون الذين كفروا لبئس ما قدمت لهم أنفسهم أن سخط الله عليهم وفي العذاب هم خالدون. In another verse, ولو كانوا يؤمنون بالله والنبي وما أنزل إليه ما اتخذوهم أولياء وَلَكِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِّنْهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ. Had they believed in Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what was revealed to him, they would not take the disbelievers as awliya, as protectors, as allies, as helpers, aiding them over the Muslim. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said, this verse means you'll not find a single heart that has iman and taken the kufr as awliya in it. It's got to be one or the other. Either iman in the heart or taking the kuffar as awliya in it. And we can mention tens upon tens, if not hundreds of proof on this matter. I mean, willfully volunteering and joining the military of the US and the UK. If that's not among the peak of mudahara of the mushrikeen, then what is? That's absolutely all that needs to be said about this matter. We should stop right here. And that's it. Let me take it a little bit further. The mudahara of the kuffar in this matter entails many other issues in reality. It's not only participating in an organization that harms Islam and massacres Muslims. As mighty as that is, there's other mighty matters intertwined with it. Killing the youngest of our infants, or the worst sinning Muslim, is mightier than destroying the Kaaba? An infant or the worst Muslim who falls under the term Islam? Imagine the reaction of Muslims if the US or the UK military was to mobilize in order to destroy the Kaaba. They've done what's worse than that thousands upon thousands of times. And what I'm getting at is the massacres, as mighty as they are they're only a stepping stone to other mighty matters attached to them, like colonizing, stabilizing kufr in our countries, invading and influencing the rules and laws that people go by. It's colonizing, it's protecting, it's upholding, it's defending, stabilizing, spreading man-made kufr constitutions. Participating with them is participating in making kufr supreme, like ruling by democracy or handing the lands over to Rafida to rule by shirk and destroy the Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَاتِلُوهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةً وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ كُلُّهُ لِلَّهِ. كُلُّهُ لِلَّهِ. And fight until there's no fitna. Fitna is shirk. Until there's no shirk. وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ كُلُّهُ لِلَّهِ. It means fight until the religion is for Allah alone, completely, totally, fully to Allah. What's the ruling on one who fights to establish the exact opposite of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered? Allah said to fight until there's no fitna, and this person contributes to the massacres of the Muslims to establish fitna and kufr on this earth. Someone who does that, does he truly love and have wala to Allah and His Messenger and the believers? Does he have wala to them? Has he established wala to Allah and Islam? In Sahih Muslim, وَمَنْ قَاتَلَ تَحْتَ رَايَةٍ عُمِّيَّةٍ or عِمِّيَّةٍ, عُمِّيَّة or عِمِّيَّة is both linguistically proper. يَغْضَبُ لِعَصَبَةٍ. يَغْضَبُ لعصبة أو يدعو إلى عصبة أو ينصر عصبة فقتل فقتلة جاهلية. فقتل فقتلة جاهلية. راية عمية. Raya means a banner. Whoever fights under a banner. Ammiya comes from blindness. Whoever fights for a blind banner. Ammiya here means dalala. Whoever fights under an uncertain banner. Everything one fights for that is dalala is included in that term. A cause that's not clear. An unjust cause. One who fights for tribalism is included in that. If he's killed, what did the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? He died a death of jahiliyyah. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Imagine people participating and enlisting in massacring Muslims to establish kufr on the earth. You see how deranged the thinking has become? A Muslim only gives his life to raise the word of Allah supreme. That's when the life becomes cheap. To honor the deen of Allah and to protect what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered that it be protected. Willfully volunteering and joining such military is kufr, even if they claim to love Islam. Even though those who enlist, they enlist in believing and in loving the cause, the military and the cause. But let's say, for example, they say we're doing it for dunya purposes. We're doing it for the GI Bill, for the college tuition, to get in shape, for medical care, to travel around the world, for the salary. This person's still a murtad. Imam Abdul Latif ibn Abdul Rahman al-Sheikh rahimahullah ta'ala said, someone may hate shirk and love Tawheed